Hello, my dear students. Myself, Dr. Pitambar Umne, founder Botany for You, and working as Associate Professor and Head Department of Botany, Dharampet MP Dev Memorial Science College, Nagpur, Maharashtra, India. I welcome you all in this online platform for the students of Life Sciences Botany for You. Earlier, we have arranged the different lectures on the botany syllabus in an objective type of the manner. Again, in addition to that, today we have another lecture from RTMNU Nagpur University Botany syllabus for BSc Semester 6, Paper 1, that is Plant Physiology 2 and Biotechnology. In today's lecture, we will see the different MCQs based upon the Paper 1, Unit 1. This Unit 1 contain the different topics which includes the growth, then concept of growth, growth curves and phases of the growth. We know that the permanent change in the living organism is known as the growth, which is responsible to increase the dry weight of the organism, and that is nothing but the growth. There are the different growth phases in the life cycle of the plants in the form of lag phase, log phase and steady phase, or the other such type of the conditions. In addition to that, there are the phytochromes, that is PR and PFR forms, that is the phytochrome red light absorbing and the phytochrome far red light absorbing, and their role in the plants. Then circadian rhythms and biological clocks, means the response of the plants with respect to the length of the day and the night. Again, such type of the time measuring system is present in the plant, and that is nothing but the biological clock. Then the another topic, that is the plant growth regulators, or in other way we can say that the plant hormones. And in the syllabus there is a role of the auxin, cytokinin, gibberellin, abscisic acid and ethylene. And the last topic in the unit is plant movement. Though there are the many type of the plant movements, out of that the tropic movements and nastic movements from the paratonic movements is included in the syllabus. So today we will see the different MCQ type of the questions based upon this unit, and this will be helpful to the students of semester 6 who are appearing in upcoming examination conducted by the universities. The first one, that is when growth rate of a plant is plotted against time, a growth is obtained which is, if you see the graph of any plant which is growing initially slowly, then fast and then again slow. So first one, that is lag phase, then log phase and then steady phase. Log phase is also known as exponential phase, or the exponential increase in the size of the organism. So in this way, if we see this graph, you will find that it is S-shaped, and hence the answer for this question is A, that is the S-shaped. Then measurement of growth can be done by old methods using. If you see the different methods or the traditional methods which were used to determine the growth of the organism or the plants, then there is a utilization of the horizontal microscope. Then even the Orc oxanometer is used, and Pfeffer's oxanometer is also used to measure the growth of the plant. And hence all these three methods are used for the calculation of the growth of the organism, and hence all the above is answer for this question. Then phytochromes are, if you see the phytochromes are the proteinous type of the bodies or the protein containing structures which are present in the plants and are responsible for the different functions, and these are organic compounds, and hence the organic substances is the answer for this question. Then which of the following phytochromes was discovered first? So here the type of the phytohormones or the plant growth regulators. So in a very early, that is in a 19th century, the auxin was discovered, and the first attempt was carried out by the Darwin in relation to the growth. So the auxin is first one phytohormone which is discovered among the different plant hormones. Then true natural auxin of the higher plant is, if we are talking about the auxin, then chemically that auxin is indole 3 acetic acid, in other words, or the short form IAA we are seeing in the books. So this indole acetic acid, that is the correctly the indole 3 acetic acid, is the true natural auxin which is found in the higher plants. Then primary physiological effects of auxin in plant is, so if you see the elongation of the internode is a characteristic feature of the gibberellin. Then cell division is a characteristic feature of the cytokinin, and the elongation of the cells in the shoot is a characteristic feature of the auxin, and hence the elongation of cells in shoot is a correct answer for this question. Then which of the following is not physiological effect of auxin in higher plants? We have to remember here that not means here the which of the following is not a physiological effect. Apical dominance is a physiological effect of the auxin. Cell elongation, just we have seen that it is also one of the physiological effect of the auxin, and even the root initiation is also one of the function of the auxin, and hence none of the above will be the answer for this question. The precursor of auxin synthesis in plant is amino acid, means the auxin is synthesized from what? So the tryptophan is an amino acid from which the auxin is synthesized. Then which of the following is antioxin? Means if we see the activity of the auxin, there are some of the chemical compounds which are responsible to act in an antagonistic manner for the auxin activity, and this is 2,3,5 triazobenzoic acid, and you should remember this name which has the activity, and that is a antioxin type of the activity. Then gibberellins are derivatives of, if you see the gibberellin or synthesis or the biosynthesis of the gibberellin, then diterpenes are the structures or the chemical compounds from which the gibberellins are synthesized, and hence these are the derivatives. So out of a numerous different gibberellins, which one of the following is called gibberellic acid, and that is widely used by the scientists to grow growth promoting properties of gibberellin? This is also you have to remember that the gibberellic acid 3 is most extensively used as a growth promoting hormone by the different scientists. Then which of the following is not a specific physiological effect of the gibberellin? If you see the elongation of the internode, which is the main function of the gibberellin, Then bolting and the flowering. If you see the many plants which has the reduced stem and the leaves are present in a rosette manner. But at the time of the flowering, there is a development of the stem from this rosette condition or the reduced stem for the development of the flowers. So, such a type of the development of the stem is nothing but the condition of bolting. So, this bolting and the flowering are also induced by the gibberellin. Then de novo synthesis of the alpha amylase means new alpha amylase is also induced to synthesize by the gibberellin, and hence all these three are the physiological effects of the gibberellin, but the question is asked not a specific type of the physiological effect of the gibberellin, and hence none of the above becomes the answer for this question. Then richest source of gibberellin in higher plant is, if you see the different plant organs, root, stem, leaves and immature seeds. So the highest content of the gibberellin is found in the immature seeds, and hence it is a answer. The primary precursor for the formation of isoprenoid unit and synthesis of gibberellin is. So the precursor for the formation of isoprenoid unit and the synthesis of gibberellin is the acetic acid, and that is nothing but the acetate. Then gibberellin transport in a plant is predominantly in the form of what? So the answer is non-polar. So you should remember here the gibberellin is in a non-polar manner transport, while if you see the auxin transport, then it is a polar type of the transport in the plant body. So we should remember both these. There may be question on the auxin transport also as well as the gibberellin transport also. Then chemical nature of kinetin is, if you see the kinetin is nothing but a cytokinin or one of the cytokinin compound which is discovered very early, and during the experiments it is found that it is just like to that of the cell division, means it is responsible to induce the cell division. So that compound is nothing but the 6-furfuryl aminopurines, and this is the actual chemical compound which is now known as a kinetin. Then most important biological effect of kinetin in plant is to induced. So the kinetin is responsible for the cell enlargement or cell division or elongation of internodes. If you see the cell enlargement, which is the function of auxin, then cell division is a function of kinetin, or we can say it is a cytokinin, and the elongation of internode is a function of gibberellin. So on this basis we can say that the cell division is a specific type of the physiological function of kinetin in the plants. Then which of the following has not been isolated from plants? Not isolated. So during the experiments actually the kinetin was discovered, and the kinetin is not present in the plants, and hence the kinetin is one of the answer. Then which one of the following physiological effect is not specific to the kinetin? Not specific. So counteraction of the apical dominance, which is the function of the kinetin. Then delay of senescence, that is also one of the function. Then breaking seed dormancy or the dormancy of the seed, and that is also one of the physiological function of the kinetin or the cytokinin, and hence not the specific function or the physiological effect, means here none of the above will be the answer for this one. Then fruit ripening hormone is, and the fruit ripening hormone is ethylene. If you see the female reproductive organ in the angiosperm, where there is a formation of the fruit, because only the angiosperms are the fruit bearing organisms in the plants. So here the female reproductive organ, that is the stigma, style and ovary, and inside the ovary there is a presence of ovule. So this ovary convert into the fruit and this ovule convert into the seed. So this formation of the fruit, which is responsible to change the certain physiological changes or the chemical changes in the wall of the ovary, and these are induced by the presence of the ethylene inside the plant, and hence it becomes the answer. Then triple response of the etiolated pea seedling is caused by, if you see the triple response of the etiolated pea seedlings, then it is the only ethylene which show the triple response. And what do you mean by the etiolated? That the plants which are growing in absence of the light or the very less intensity of the light, and that are known as the etiolated seedlings. Then which of the following is considered as a naturally occurring growth inhibitor in plants? Naturally occurring growth inhibitor. If you see the abscisic acid, because indole acetic acid is the auxin, Ga, that is the gibberellic acid, and these are the inducers which are responsible to enhance the activity or the cell division, means growth of the. But here the question is that the inhibitor, growth inhibitor, and the abscisic acid, that is the ABA, is a growth inhibitor among the plant hormones. Then abscisic acid, that is the ABA, is not involved in, if you see the stomatal closure in the water stressed plant, then there is a activity of the ABA. Then fruit ripening and dormancy of the seed and bud, that also involve the ABA, and the senescence, that also involve the abscisic acid. And hence all these are the different physiological effects or the functions of the abscisic acid, and hence none of the above is the answer for this question. Then which of the following statement is correct? So auxin causes rapid increase in cell wall extensibility. As we have seen, the cell elongation is one of the function of the auxin, and hence this is correct statement. Then auxin causes proton extrusion and acidification of cell wall and wall loosening. This is also required for the elongation of the cells. Then auxin causes the rapid changes in gene activity, which is again one of the important factor during the cell elongation for the synthesis of the protein. And hence all these statements are correct, and hence all the above becomes the answer for this question. Then overall senescence is a typical of, if you see the senescence is nothing but the death of the particular organ of the body or the complete organism, means organ senescence or the whole body senescence. If you see the annual plants, after flowering and fruiting, they completely dry and die, and hence this is known as the overall senescence, and hence it is found mostly or most common in the annual plants. Though even such type of the condition is present in the perennial plants also, but it is very rare. And just like annual plant, there are some perennial plants like the bamboo, which flowers from 28 to 35 years once in a lifetime, and after that the whole body senesces. So this is an exception for this one. Otherwise, very most common example for the senescence, for the overall senescence, and that is nothing but the in case of annual plants, and hence it is an answer. Then concentration of which of the following hormone increases in senescence of the plant? As we have seen earlier, the abscisic acid and ethylene, these are responsible for the senescence, and hence the increase in the concentration during the senescence will be abscisic acid and the ethylene, while other are growth promoters, and hence such type of the hormones will not be there in the senescence organ. Then abscission of leaves is controlled by. Abscission is nothing but the premature leaf fall. So the presence of auxin on proximal side of the abscission. Say for example, if this is a stem and this is a joint, and here there is a presence of leaf, and we can say that here this one will be one side and this one will be the another side. So we can say that this is a proximal side and this is a distal one. So the presence of auxin on the proximal side of the abscission zone, then presence of auxin on the distal side of the abscission zone, and relative concentration of the auxin on two sides of the abscission zone. Usually the abscisic acid is present, or the auxin is present on both the sides, but if you see the concentration of the auxin, it is present on the proximal side also and it is present on the distal side also, but the more quantity of the auxin when is present on the distal side and less quantity of the auxin to the proximal side, then there is a formation of abscission zone, and hence the relative concentration of the auxin on two sides of the abscission zone of the leaf, and that is the correct answer for this question. Then beside ethylene, which of the following phytohormone has generally a promotory role in the fruit ripening? Earlier we have seen that the role of the abscisic acid, that is ABA, is in the fruit ripening, and hence it is a answer. Which of the following is not involved in fruit ripening? That is degreening process, means here the removal of or degeneration of chloroplast. Then regreening process, that the synthesis of chloroplast. Then conversion of chloroplast into the chromoplast, and biosynthesis of carotenoid and anthocyanins. So if we see the fruit ripening, we know that the green color changes to the various different colors, and hence here the synthesis of chloroplast will not be there, and hence regreening process will not be there, and hence not involved, and hence here the B will be the answer for this question. Then which of the following is biologically most active natural cytokinin in plants? So the most active natural cytokinin, and that is a transform of the zeatin, and that will be the correct answer for this question. Then PR, that is the phytochrome. From the phytochrome is, if you see this one, it is a blue in color, and this phytochrome R is there because it is responsible for the absorption of the red light. As we know, there are the two different type of the phytochromes, phytochrome R and phytochrome PFR. So next one, that is the inhibitory effect of red light on flowering during critical dark period in short day plant can be overcome by. See the effect of red light. If you want to reverse the effect of red light, this proteinous compound, which is known as the phytochrome, having the two forms, that is the red light absorbing and far red light absorbing, and both are interconvertible, and hence if there is a red light and later on if it is absorbed the far red light, then again it will be overcome, and hence the far red light will be the answer for this question. The inhibition of flowering in short day plant by interruption of dark period with red light and its reversal by far red light involve the operation of. If you see this complete process, that is the absorption of the red light or the absorption of the far red light by this pigment, then we can say that these pigments are nothing but the phytochromes, and hence it becomes now the answer. The molecular weight of phytochrome is about, you should remember this, that the molecular weight of the phytochrome is about 250 kilodalton. Then which of the following is absorbed by the phytochrome? If you see, the phytochrome which are responsible for the absorption of red light and the far red light, and because of that there is a conversion of one form of the phytochrome to the another form. But in addition to that, here even the blue light is also absorbed by the phytochromes, and hence the red light, far red light and blue light, all of these are absorbed by the phytochromes, and hence all the above will be the answer for this question. In plants, the richest source of the phytochrome are, if you see, earlier we have seen the pea plant seedlings or the etiolated pea plant seedling, so that contain the more quantity of the phytochromes. So the etiolated means the plants which are grown in a shade or the low intensity of the light or even in the darkness, and in such type of the condition there will be the yellow color of the plant body or the faint color of the plant body, and such type of the plants are known as the etiolated seedlings. So in etiolated seedling, the quantity of phytochrome is highest. So first one becomes the answer for this one. Then native phytochrome is a soluble protein, which is, if you see the structure of the phytochrome, then you will find that such a type of the two dimers are attached with each other, and both are same, and hence both are same and hence homo. They are two in number and hence it is a dimer, and hence the answer becomes homodimer for this question. Then which type of phytochrome predominates in etiolated seedling? If you see the different types, that is the type 1, type 2, then in a etiolated seedling the type of the phytochrome which is present, and it is a type 1. The chromatophore of phytochrome is attached to its polypeptide through. If you see the attachment of this one, then there is a sulfur atom in between them which are responsible to attach the phytochrome, that is a polypeptide. So in this way the sulfur atom becomes the answer for this question. Then the assembly of chromatophore and apoprotein of phytochrome, means chromatophore and apoprotein of phytochrome in is autocatalytic that occur in, if you see the presence of chromatophores and the apoprotein of the phytochrome, they are freely present in the cytoplasm of the cell, and hence the cytosol is the answer for this question. When the period of biological rhythmicities matches with those of the cycle of day and night, such rhythms are called as. So there are the different type of the rhythms, that is the circadian rhythms which indicates the days and nights, then circulunar rhythms which are related to the moon, and the circannual rhythms, they are related to the earth or complete turn of the earth around the sun, that is nothing but the year. and hence here the question asks that the day and night, and hence this one is a answer, that is the circadian rhythm. Then which one of the following is an example of circadian rhythm in plants? Sleep movement of leaves in Phaseolus multiflorus. We know in the morning or afternoon the leaves are fresh and they show the sleeping movement in the evening or at night. So this is known as the sleep movement, which is found in the Phaseolus multiflorus. Then bioluminescence in Goniolax polyandra. Then spore discharge in Pilobolus spirophorus. So all these are the different circadian rhythms in the plants, and hence all the above becomes the answer for this question. Then circadian rhythms are, if you see the circadian rhythms in the different plants, they have the certain chemical compounds or the organic compounds which are responsible for all these type of the rhythmic activities, and hence they are endogenous in nature, because inside the plant body there are some organic compounds which are responsible to show these rhythms. Then classical experiments in understanding the nature of circadian rhythms in plants were carried out by, if you see the experiments which were carried out on the circadian rhythms, and he was the D. Maron who carried out this experiment on the circadian rhythms to understand the response of the plants to the stimulus. The period of circadian rhythm is, just we have seen that the circadian rhythms is nothing but the rhythms of the plant or the response of the plant with respect to the light or the day and the night. If you see this response, it is exactly 24 hours, less than 24 hours or more than 24 hours. So such type of the exact system is found to be absent in the circadian rhythm. Instead of that, here from 21 to 28 hours of the daylight, and hence the approximately 24 hours will be the answer for this question of the circadian rhythms. In organisms showing circadian rhythms, the time measurement system in them is called as, and this is very popularly known as the biological clock. The study of periodicities or rhythmicities in organisms is called as, if you see the study of periodicities or the rhythmicities, then it is known as the biochronometry. So you should remember this name, which is the branch of biology which deals with the study of periodicities or the rhythmicities. Then which of the following statement is correct? That the circadian rhythms are not dependent on environmental parameters but may be synchronized with them. Just we have seen that there are the presence of certain organic compounds in the plant body which are responsible to show the response to the different environmental conditions, and hence circadian rhythms are not dependent on the environmental parameters but be synchronized with them, and this is the correct statement. See the second one also, the circadian rhythms are dependent on the environmental parameters. We have seen that they are synchronized and not dependent upon, and hence this one is the wrong one, and hence the first one is a correct answer for this question. Then tropic and nastic movements are the examples of. If you see the classification of the movement, the vital movements include the movement of curvature, and the movement of curvature include the paratonic type of the movements, and paratonic type of the movements include the tropic movements and nastic movements. So the paratonic included in the moment of curvature and moment of curvature included in the vital movements, and hence the tropic movements are nothing but the vital movements, moment of curvature, and the paratonic, or even they are also known as the induced type of the movement. and hence all the above becomes the answer for this question. Then movements of curvature which occur in response to external stimulus are called as. So if you see this type of the movement which show the response to the external stimulus, they are known as induced movements, and the induced movement are also known as the paratonic type of the movements. Then variation movements of curvature are, if you see a simple example of the different plants, just like to that of the Mimosa pudica, which is the touch me not plant. So if you touch it, automatically it show the slip movement, and after some time again it regain its original shape and the size. So such a type of the changes in the organism with respect to the movement, that is the variation movement, and that is a temporary type of the movement because it remain as it is or it again regain itself after some time. Then tropic movements occur in response to, if you see the tropic movement, then it occurs in response to the external and unilateral stimulus. Say for example, if there is a window and if the plant is potted and is kept near the window, so because of the unilateral light from the window to the plant, automatically this will turn towards the light, and this is a unilateral flow of the light towards the plant, and hence the external unilateral stimulus is answer for this question, and this is nothing but an example of phototropism. Then besides unilateral white light, which of the following unilateral light is effective in causing phototropic curvature? You should remember that the blue light is most effective in the curvature in the form of unilateral luminescence. So in this way we should remember this name, that it is a effective light in case of the curvature. Then Targorin, you should remember this name also. The Targorin are believed to be involved in, if you see the Nastic movement, means here the movement of variation. So in case of the Nastic movement, here there is an involvement of the compounds, that is the Targorin, so which becomes now the answer. Then phenomena of gravitropism can be demonstrated by using, if you have seen earlier, there is such a type of the figure in the book, and this plant is revolved and later on it is kept as it is. So after some time again we will find the changes in this plant, and which type of the changes? Here, as the stem is positively phototropic and the roots are negatively phototropic, and hence here the stem will grow towards the upper side, that is negatively geotropic, and the root will grow towards the lower side or towards the soil, and this will be a positively geotropic, and hence the phenomena of gravitropism means towards the gravity here, and this experiment is nothing but the clinostat, and hence it is a answer for this question. Then Nastic movements are, if you see the Nastic movements, just we have seen that example of the touch me not plant, Mimosa pudica. So that is one of the example of the Nastic movements. Even there is a trapping of the different insect by insectivorous plant, and that is thigmotropism. That is again one of the nastic movement. So such a type of the movements or the nastic movements, they are the variation movement of curvature. Then the Mimosa pudica, a sensitive plant, that is touch me not plant, exhibit. So this type of the movement is known as the seismonastic type of the movement. Nyctinastic type of the movement are nothing but the slipping movement of the plants or the petals. Thigmonastic type of the movement, just we have seen the different insectivorous plant, and photonastic movement means response to the light. Then thigmonastic movements are found in the leaves of, just we have seen that the Drosera and Dionia both are the insectivorous plant, and thigmonastic means that when it show the response when there is anything touched to it. So when the insect come on the leaves or sit on the leaves, then they closed it. So in this way, such type of the movement is known as the thigmonastic movement, which is shown by the insectivorous plants. In many plants, the leaves and the flowers acquire a particular but a different position during day and night. Such movements are known as, just we have seen that this type of the movement is known as the slipping movement, and the slipping movement is known as the nyctinastic type of the movements. So the A will be the answer. Just we have seen the seismonastic in the Mimosa pudica, touch me not plant, and thigmonastic type of the movement in case of the insectivorous plant. Then roots growing at some intermediate angle between 0 to 90 degree. Anytime when you have to see the development of the roots, it is in such a fashion. Means it is always from 0 to 90 degree. So such type of the growth of the root, which are intermediate angle between the 0 to 90 to a vertical plane, and this is known as the plagiogeotrophic. So you should remember this name, plagiogeotrophic. This is the system in which the roots grow to 0 to 90 degree from the surface. So in this way, we have finished this unit in the form of different MCQs. So thank you very much for the listening of the complete lecture. If you like this lecture and if it is beneficial for you, then kindly like, share and subscribe our YouTube channel Botany for You, and also press a bell icon for the alerts of every lecture to be uploaded on the life size titles. Thanks a lot once again.